I'm young and while I'm able, all I want to do is...
Jam-packed Infowarrior this evening on the eve of the money bomb. Cindy Sheehan in studio in just over an hour. Tell your friends. Alex Jones set to join us before that as well. Glenn Beck and others in the mainstream media are now trying to paint this psychopath, this killer, this nut job, a man who went into a Holocaust museum, somehow with a rifle. Where was the security? I don't know. First of all, you're supposed to walk through metal detectors. You're not supposed to be able to get in there, but there were no guards there. He kills a guard. This man's 89 years old, by the way. He suffers a bullet wound. He survives somehow. And now I have to hear Glenn Beck, scum of the earth, total poison. If you are buying into anything Beck is saying, I feel bad for you. He literally says, oh, it's okay to question the Fed. 9/11 is not okay to question. He says that this man is a hero to 9/11 truth. We're going to play the clip. It's over at the Infowarrior.com right now. This guy is disgusting. Then he's talking to a former CIA operative. Yeah, right, former CIA operative. And, 9/11 truth is willing to work with Al-Qaeda and white supremacists and anybody they can to destroy America. In fact, we apparently cheered on 9/11 when it happened. Before we even knew about it. They actually point to the Muslims that cheered 9/11. The majority of those were stock footage from weddings. Yeah, that's right. When they showed you all those Palestinians, that was from months before at a wedding, had nothing to do with 9/11 whatsoever, and they used the same propaganda almost 8 years later. Oh, and Glenn Beck, he's a big prophet now. He's been warning against these 9/11 truthers for a long time. This guy was a total nut. Had nothing to do with 9/11 truth. As far as we can tell, he never ordered anything from Infowars.com. If you visit the site, what can you do? Literally hundreds of millions of people across the world, hundreds of millions, have been to Infowars.com. Does that mean if they commit a crime, it's our fault? Does that mean that we're cheering them when they commit a crime? Of course not. And I got to tell you, my stomach is turned over into a new level for this hate monger, this fear monger, this piece of filth, Glenn Beck. Now it's time to up the ante, up the game. I am calling on all of our listeners, Alex Jones and the InfoWarrior listeners out there, to call Glenn Beck's program tomorrow and say, what the hell are you talking about? This guy's a hero to 9/11 truth. What the hell was that, Mr. Beck? There is not one legitimate 9/11 truth site out there. Not Infowars, not 9/11 Blogger, not 9/11 Truth. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. That is saying that this guy's a hero. That is condoning what he did. What did he do? He acted like a friggin' nut job, and he killed somebody. Somebody who had nothing to do with anything. The guy was probably making $10.75 an hour if he was lucky as a DC guardsman at a Holocaust museum. And people wonder why I get hot at the Nazis. This is why I get hot at the Nazis. They go and kill people, folks. And the man who got shot and the man who shot him have no idea what each other's politics are. In other words, this guy who goes in with a rifle and kills a security guard at a Holocaust museum doesn't even know who this man is. He's a nut. He does need to be dealt with. But that doesn't mean you demonize asking questions, demanding answers. You don't demonize the truth, Glenn Beck. But that's all you know how to do, isn't it? You just love to have your little buddy Jim Meggs on the program so he can debunk 9/11 truth and he can tell us that there's no FEMA camps. Meanwhile, FEMA is getting ready for the biggest exercise of its career, NLE 09. Coming up less than 2 months now, about 6 weeks. About 6 weeks, we'll see a massive terrorism drill, international. Forget our sovereignty, it's all over. Australia, UK, Mexico, Canada, come on in, private organizations, we love you. We're just going to be taking over the federal, the state, the local, and tribal governments, that's all. We're going to play the clip on the other side. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas, 866-582-9933.